might just be having a bad week, bad month. These things happen, but just really persisted and kept going downhill essentially.
And can you just really explain how that felt day to day, like how it was different to get up in the morning, how it was different interacting with people? What did you really notice in terms of the symptoms of it?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that confused me as well because I think I had this idea that mental illness is essentially just sad the whole time. Whereas, like I said, I was getting really easily frustrated. I couldn't concentrate at all. I also sort of had every negative experience at once. So sometimes I would be sad, sometimes I would be angry, sometimes I would be just bored, sometimes I wouldn't feel anything, and then would get frustrated because I wouldn't know what I was actually feeling down about.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the hardest parts.
So it's like all the negative emotions were brought into focus, and the positive ones that would normally pop up were a lot harder to come by.
Yeah, I think I almost see it as a filter where you're kind of screening out everything that's positive and amplifying everything that's negative.
So what was it like realizing that that wasn't going away and in fact it was getting worse?
I think that was the hardest part because when I went to a doctor, I thought, all right, there must just be something weird going on. Maybe I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with my thyroid. Maybe it could be anything really. And then when I went there and they kind of explained, all right, there's something going on here. And then kind of explained that this is not something that's going to go away. And then that was definitely the hardest part, realizing that it's not just something that I was going to snap out of the next day and wake up. Because it did really, although it wasn't one day I was fine and one day the next. It did sort of come on out of nowhere. So I was expecting, all right, well, it's just going to go away out of nowhere.
Yeah, of course. And you did a test at the doctor's as well?
Yeah. So I didn't even know there was a test, but I just filled out a questionnaire and they asked things like, how much are you enjoying life or those sorts of questions. And it was 40 out of 40 on the depression scale, which was really quite confronting because I still had this perception of my mind of, is there anything actually wrong? Am I just imagining this? But that really hit home that, all right, there is really something going on here.
Yeah, but you're literally as negative as you could possibly get doing that test.
Yeah, exactly.
How did the doctor respond to when they saw that?
They were pretty shocked that I think their first reaction was, what took you so long to come in? And I just thought, I don't know. I didn't think there was anything wrong. I thought, yeah, I don't know if I'm just imagining things or...
Or you didn't think you had a good enough reason.
Yeah, exactly. And since I didn't really have a perception of myself as the sort of person that this would affect, I just thought it honestly didn't even really cross my mind this could be depression or something. I thought that just wouldn't happen to me.
And how were people in your life reacting at that point? At what point did your parents and your friends know that there was something off? Did your friends realize when you were at Falls Festival that there was something going on with you, or were you good at hiding it?
I think by that point, I'd gotten pretty good at hiding things, or if I was feeling down, then I would just go. I think that festival, I spent a lot of time just sitting in a friend's car, really not knowing what to do and not really wanting to show people how I was feeling. So I would either put on a mask, or if I didn't feel up to putting on a mask, then I would go and hide essentially. So I think I realized at a later date, I actually didn't realize that my friends had noticed something was going on until I did start speaking out about this. And then a friend, we were out once and we'd had a couple of drinks and he said, yeah, we all noticed something weird was going on, but we thought you might even have cancer or something. It didn't even cross their mind that it would be something mental, because they seen that I'd stopped going out and I must have seen to stop enjoying things and having a good time when I was out. And they thought, if you wanted to talk about it, then you would, but it must be something serious going on.
And I guess that's especially hard in that situation because you don't even really know what it is or how to explain it. And I guess your fear is that they'll say, well, the typical response of why don't you just snap out of it or think positive or not understand what you're talking about and judge you on that, because it's not something like cancer where everyone knows that that's a terrible thing that people understand and they go, okay, yes, course you should be feeling the way that you're feeling. But when it's something that you can't fully articulate, you're worried that people are just going to judge you and be confused and sort of brush it off and say, get over it.
Yeah, exactly. That was the scariest thing. I thought can't possibly let anybody know because they'll think that there's something wrong with me. They'll think that I'm weak. They'll think I'm unstable. They'll think I'm a burden. They won't want to talk about it. No one's going to want to hang out with me. And I especially can't let uni or my employer know because they're going to think I'm unreliable. And
Yeah, so you felt like your future was at risk and your identity was at risk as well. You know, who you'd built yourself up to be was on the line. And if people found out that you were feeling this way, then you would lose that credibility that you built up around your friendship circles and within yourself as well. So it must have been pretty terrifying to.
yeah, exactly. Because I wondered why would I put in so much effort to kind of maintain a mask and hide this from people. But I think I did think that if anybody found out, everything would just come completely crashing down even more than it already was. And people would never view me the same.
And so when did it get to the point where there was no hiding it and you had to change that mindset and it sort of, took over?
So that took a long time. So I told one friend who was really supportive. This was probably getting to the middle of 2014, so almost a year after it had started. I told the first person, and I was absolutely terrified. It's probably still one of the scariest things, and I still do find it quite scary telling new people. But that was really make or break for me. They did respond really well, but then that kind of gave me faith. Wow, this person really didn't just write me off. They're still there. They're still my friend. They're actually caring and concerned for me. And then even after that, it took a few months, and then it was really a sudden decision of I was awake one night, not being able to sleep a few months later, and I heard of the Semicolon Foundation.
Just briefly explain what they're about.
Yeah, so Semicolon Foundation is a mental health awareness, organization. And the semicolon is used in a sentence where the author could end the sentence but didn't. So it's kind of a metaphor for being in a position where you might have considered ending your own sentence in your life but didn't. And when I heard about that, I thought that's really powerful and that's a really good advocacy message. So I thought if I had seen somebody who I knew in a similar position speak out and know that, okay, their life hasn't gone to shit because of this, they still have friends, they still have been able to maintain some degree of their life, I think I would have been a lot more open about it. So I kind of decided then and there, I need to make sure that I never don't speak out about this. And then essentially the next week I got their logo tattooed so that I wouldn't have a choice.
Show me that.
So this is actually one of the worrying things about it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, just hold it up a bit and turn it maybe. Yeah.
So even though I was so committed that I thought I never want to shy away from this, I always want it to be something that I'm open about, I still got it deliberately exactly under where a watch would be. So that if there were situations where which I wish I didn't now, I wish I got it somewhere where I didn't have a choice but to show it. But I thought, especially employers, I thought
just in case you didn't want to have it visible at all times.
yeah, exactly. So I guess I thought that if I'm going for a job interview or something, and people say this, people are going to think, why would I hire this person? They're unstable.
Wow, why would you? You'd be crazy to do that.
Yeah. So I guess, but that's really the opposite of the response I've had, to be honest.
So do people know what that symbol means?
No, people ask. Some people know, but I think people that know are generally people that have had some experience themselves with mental illness and come across it that way. And other times people ask, and I still do. I still get scared telling new people that don't yet know. There is still a bit of fear of how's this person going to react, and often people don't really know what to say in the moment.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful symbol and a really interesting idea that they've come up with there, and it's brave of you to wear it like that. And obviously it speaks to the significance that this whole experience has had on you, and the fact that, you want to hold on to that throughout your life and not forget it, obviously. And then also remind yourself that given the fact that you've been through this, you can now actually help other people and try to see when someone else might need help, and then you can actually be the one to your shoulder to them. So I think that's so powerful, man. That's great.
Yeah, it has been almost overwhelming. I thought that, all right, maybe there's a small chance that this might help one person one day go seek help, but then as I also started at the same time trying to speak out on social media, and I not a writer or anything, but I was just kind of putting out my thoughts and saying, this is what's been going on. Don't really have any answers, but this is what's happening. Gonna try to be open about it. Hopefully it might help someone. And then I was sort of inundated with messages of people saying, I've really struggled. I haven't told anybody, but I'm going through something different. Like really shocked that this could happen to you. I thought there was something, they essentially thought what I thought. They thought there's something wrong with me. No one else I know would be going through this.
No one would understand it, and
yeah, exactly.
I'm alone with it. Yep. And so getting that response, what did that make you think, or how did that change your view of what you were going through?
Well, it made me realize that everybody else sort of has the same fear, and everybody else is terrified of speaking out and telling their friends and telling anybody. And it sort of made me realize that lots of the people were messaging me as well. I was equally surprised that they had gone through something similar. Lots of these people were people that I respected a lot and looked up to. And I think it was really shocking, to be honest, how many people had gone through something similar. And I think I was also shocked that, like I said, I thought this might help one person one day. But I think the fact that they'd seen someone similar and realized it isn't just them did seem to help people a lot, and kind of gave them the courage of going to speak to someone or get help, whether that's by telling a friend or a doctor. Yeah, I really have no regrets at all about trying to be as open about this as possible.